New video posted to Twitter gives you an idea of the conditions some firefighters are facing as they work to control wildfires all across California. The UC Davis Fire Department captured these images as their crews work to control the Tamarack Fire. The fire chief there with the UC Davis Fire Department thinks the images are a clear example of the bravery of these firefighters. More than 1,200 firefighters right now are fighting the Tamarack Fire.
The fire has grown to more than 50,000 acres. It spread from Alpine County over the state line into Nevada late yesterday. 10 structures have burned. Fire crews have not said which type of structures were involved. Officials say right now the fire is only 4% contained. Lighter winds are helping crews in southern Oregon, where the bootleg fire has now grown to 624 square miles. That is over half the size of Rhode Island. Authorities say higher humidity overnight and better conditions are also allowing crews to improve fire lines. The fire was also approaching an area burned by a previous fire. Officials are hoping the lack of fuel will keep the flames from spreading.
CAL FIRE posted on social media today some images showing the work that's involved in constructing those very important fire lines designed to slow the spread of these fires. Joining us now for more is CAL FIRE Deputy Chief Jonathan Cox, live in Oakland right now with some more insight on the tireless work that's underway to fight these fires. And Jonathan, always good to have you on. Of course, we have the two major fires in Northern California, the Dixie Fire and the Tamarack Fire, both of them exploding in size rapidly. We know, obviously, about the dry conditions, the hot conditions that we have in those areas. What is it about the weather and the conditions with the fuels that's causing these fires to spread so rapidly?
Yeah, hi Alex, thanks for having us. You know, these fires are really just examples right now of where they're burning and the difficulties that we're having. Both fires are in extremely remote areas of California, not much access, not many ways in and out, long travel times. I was talking to one battalion chief today in our department who said they actually have a traffic pattern set up for getting the crews on the line and off the line because there's such few areas of access. You couple on top of that just the dry fuels and the fire behavior that we have, and really attempts that we're making to put lines in and hold them are being challenged every day and every night, especially as wind conditions change on many of these fires.
All right, so obviously it's tough work and it's going to take a long time to get containment lines around both of these fires. But what are you seeing in terms of how many homes and other buildings are continuing to be threatened by the flames? How big a threat is it to some of these communities?
Yeah, a great question. Really, the priority right now is to protect lives and structures, first of all, and then use the resources to build containment lines where they can. Our priority is getting out ahead of the fire and preparing and defending structures. There was a large influx of resources to both fires over the last few days, and that's agencies from throughout California, including many of the local fire agencies here in the Bay Area. This one team, one fight mentality, that's in play right now. Even though we can't smell the smoke here, your local firefighters are up there defending homes in these rural communities. That is the number one priority. All decisions that are being made to ensure that there's resources in these areas to protect the homes if and when that fire comes through.
In terms of the weather conditions and the winds up in that area, especially with the Dixie Fire, is that limiting your air attack in any way, limiting the number of airdrops you could do on the flames?
Yeah, so our aircraft, luckily every day the inversion has been lifting up there. So the smoke has been settling overnight and then lifting during the day. Once it lifts, we've been able to get aircraft in. We're flying large air tankers, helicopters, as much aircraft as possible to get out and put this retardant line in. The problem that we're having is the winds in those areas, they tend to turn about 180 degrees from day to night. So where we may be using the air attack for the afternoon, by the next morning we may not be able to use in that exact location.
Let me ask you about the Tamarack Fire, because we've seen some dramatic images of that fire that's threatening the community of Markleyville. It's grown to 50,000 acres south of Lake Tahoe. And from what we learned just today, the fire has now burned over the state line into Nevada. I'm curious how that potentially changes the approach for CAL FIRE in terms of trying to contain this fire.
Yeah, so the one thing that we're very used to in California is understanding that fire doesn't respect geographical boundaries based on jurisdictional responsibility. So that fire is actually under the federal incident management system. So it literally gets brought under the incident management program, where a state is just another agency in the command system. So luckily our system allows for that, and it's not uncommon in those areas where those border fires happen between California and Nevada for those agencies to work together.
All right, Jonathan, we already have two very large fires burning at the same time here in Northern California. Obviously, that stretches the resources and puts a strain on the resources we have available here. What happens as we move further into the heart of the fire season and we get more of the red flag conditions and you have more of these mega fires burning at the same time? Are we, as a state, going to be able to respond?
Yeah, so I think, Alex, that's the question of the day, right? We are seeing fire behavior in middle of July that we would tend to see in late August or early September in California. That makes us extremely concerned about what may occur over the next few months. I think that the number one thing is just to make sure that everybody in California is thinking about their actions when they're out in the wildlands of this state. For us as an agency and other fire agencies across the state, we are backfilling as many stations as possible in real time. So right now we have engines covering behind the resources that are up in other parts of the state. If and when it gets to a place where we have multiple fires, that's when we lean really heavily on that mutual aid system to get as many resources to those priorities as possible. But we really can't do it without the support of all Californians of being safe out there when you're in these vulnerable lands.
Yeah, it's going to be a long, tough year. There's just no doubt about it. Appreciate your time as always, CAL FIRE Deputy Chief Jonathan Cox. Thank you for coming on.